guys and gals? Nary here from Drake Wayne Gaming. It's me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of In Case of Emergencies, Cedric's Path. So let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm chain, you were up, and let's go. Alright. It will always bring you closer to the world from which it originated, but before you can return home, you will have to pass through Peregrine once more. But how? How do I get back home from there? Just as an item anchors you to the world above, so too does an object forged from void anchor you to the world below. Your hand instinctively reaches for the scabbard looped around your hip. At some point during your journey down here, it had rematerialized at your side. You mean the sword? I have to get rid of it. If you are to break the cycle and leave, all artifacts must be returned to the void, the place from whence they came. You drum your fingers along the cold pommel of your blade. Despite everything, you don't want to let it go. You feel robbed of your time here, and a part of you still wants more, wants to hold on to the sand slipping past your fingers. But standing here in the emptiness of the void, it feels really impossible to articulate this. Is this what you want? What kind of price are you willing to pay to linger a little longer in this world? There's only one way out, and that way is through. You take a deep breath, gathering what little remains of your mental reserves. Nothing but darkness lies before you. You're scared, but the promise that there's some kind of existence at the end of this, even if it's not the existence you want, gives you strength. You exhale. You grip the dick stuffed in your pocket tighter, and keep going. You walk for a period of time, somewhere between nothing and forever. At a certain point, the darkness begins to incline upwards until it becomes a vertical slab. You don't realize this until you're already climbing, one hand being thrown over the other. Your arms burn, muscles exhausted after a long day. There's no way to know how far away the surface is until you breach it, your hand disappearing where it catches on the surface of the ledge. Pulling yourself up with both hands, you reappear in the room with the heart, your dick in your back pocket, the sword swinging from your side. At one corner, Remus is surrounded, kept in place by your friends that remained. He looks injured, propped up with one arm on the floor and breathing hard. Kieran! We saw you disappear! You wheeze for air as you scramble onto the ledge, ignoring the pain in your ankle. We've taken care of Remus, but... Wes takes your hand, pulling you to your feet. Guys, we have to get rid of the artifacts. What? Are you crazy? Trust me. You untie the leather straps attaching the scabbard to your waist and handclasp around the sheath, holding it out over the void. This is the only way. You grimace as you think about what you're throwing away. This was supposed to be your way out, the key to a better life. But at some point along the way, it turned into, or perhaps it was all along, a shackle. Opening your paw, you let the sword fall, its blade spinning into the pitch dark of the void. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. Something in your gut settles, tightening like a thread connected to your navel. So your navel has grown taut. Your friends look at you with concern. You must look like you've lost your mind. Wes is the first to step forward. He swings his shield out of his grip, and so he holds it by the top of its beveled edge. Kieran, I'm taking your word for this. He tosses the shield into the pit like a frisbee, letting it sail into the darkness before disappearing. He clasps a hand on your shoulder. Luke makes a show of sighing and grumbling. Are you serious? Come on, man, I never get to keep anything nice. He grips the amulet around his neck tighter and steps towards the edge of the void. He tries to tear off the clasp, fails, and tries again, then reluctantly slides it over his neck and tosses it into the pit like he meant to do that all along. It slides into the darkness and vanishes. Cedric's eyes dart between each of you, nothing to sacrifice of his own. What now? Well, I think the world was supposed to end now, but maybe I need a trigger. You pull the dick from your back pocket and hold it out like the Holy Cross. You try to imagine home and the other things you associate with it. Loneliness, debt, unemployment, a possible future of continued unemployment, but the tug against your navel doesn't change. Nothing changes. The portal doesn't open. Ha! Ha 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 ha! Remus chuckles as he pushes himself onto one knee. Did you think it would be that easy? The crown around his temples glows faintly in the darkness, casting a blue light on his cheekbones. Peregrine cannot end. Don't you see? I will not allow it. Getting to his feet, Remus stretches out his arms. In a flash of light from his circlet, a sword and shield appear in either hand, a green amulet dangling around his chest. It's similar to the relics you once held, but each a little different this time. Wrapped around the hilt of the sword, you notice is an inlay of pink tourmaline dust that wasn't there before. On the shield's surface, you think you spy a new pattern of stripes, and the amulet this time is a smooth, opaque gem hanging from a silver ball chain. Remus pins the sword in his hand with an experienced flourish. The circlet around his head glows again, and you realize that's what's been in front of you this whole time. There was a fourth relic all along. It's the crown on his head! We have to get it off! Cedric is the first to react. Without hesitation, he races for Remus, unarmed. At the side of his shield, Remus swats him aside and throws his body against a boulder. Cedric lands with a nasty-sounding crack, tumbling to the ground. Wes recovers soon afterwards. He lunges through the cave with his arms outstretched, intending to wrestle Remus to the ground. But Remus reacts quickly. He ducks to the ground to meet the assault with his shield, and flicking it upward, flips Wes's body up and over him. Wes lands and skids to a halt on all fours. He tries to block the incoming blow, but he's unarmed. Remus catches him with the broadside of his shield, knocking him across the face once, twice, throwing him across the cavern with his final attack. From across the cavern, a rock sails through the air and hits Remus' shield with a loud thunk. Remus' head whips towards the source, and he ducks in just in time to avoid the next projectile that sails off into the void. Hey, pick out someone slightly smaller than your size! Luke checks the weight of another stone in his hand, winds it up like a baseball pitcher, and lets it fly. Remus extends his sword hand out, amulet glowing, and the rock freezes mid-flight, hovering at a distance from him. Oh, come on! Luke throws another rock, but that too is stopped by the barrier of force Remus is maintaining. With a flick of his wrist, Remus sends the rocks sailing back the way they came. Oh, fuck! The first rock hits Luke in the sternum and the second on the cheek, the force slamming him back against the cave walls. Finally, Remus turns his attention to you. You reach for your sword, but realize too late that you no longer have it. All you have to defend yourself is the dick. Kieran, I had so much hope for you. Remus raises his sword for a downward slash, and you barely have time to deflect it with the dildo grasped like a weapon in your hand. You can't actually parry with it. Not really, but you can, but you redirect the blow enough so that the blade slashes across your knuckles and not your chest. Come on, is that all you've got? Remus grimaces and comes in for another swing. This one you catch with the balls of the dildo facing outward, stopping the blade on your hilt. Remus' sword catches in the base of the sack and shaft, and a centimeter from the delicate skin between your thumb and forefinger. With a grunt of frustration, Remus wrenches his sword free, nearly tearing the dick from your hands. He clashes with you again and again. You narrowly avoid his strikes with a combination of luck and parries and footwork, but you know your luck won't hold. You've had training, but Remus has been doing this for longer than any of you. Every time you catch an attack with the dick, you can feel just how much stronger he is than you. Remus roars as you stop his blade again with your weapon. This time, he doesn't pull away, instead pushing forward so your arms are pinned against your body. With every step, his blade inches deeper into the silicone and closer to your neck. The blade is starting to cut through the dick, and you feel the icy touch of steel against your paw, blood blooming where it digs into your hands. And something hits Remus on the head with a heavy thunk, and the wolf swings around with his shield arm just in time to meet a charging Wes. Wes tackles him at the waist, and the two of them tumble to the cave floor, sending Remus' weapon scattering. Hold him still! Luke hobbles over, bleeding from a fresh cut on his forehead. He looks uncharacteristically weak without his magic, but he throws his body into the fight anyway, trying to pin down an arm or a leg. Kieran, help! You limp towards the dog pile, your body burning with adrenaline and the tattered dick still in your grasp. Remus roars. No! Blooming from Remus's prone body, you watch a light begin to grow brighter and brighter, expanding like a mushroom cloud in the wake of an atomic bomb. The force of the explosion sends all of you flying through the air. You land on your back with the wind knocked out of you. You hear things cracking you that you didn't think could crack. Something wet drips from your forehead and across the bridge of your muzzle. Remus pants and snarls, stumbling to his feet. You will never take Peregrine from me. This place will outlive us all. Remus struggles to his feet and picks up his fallen sword from the ground. Gripping his bloodied side, he limps over to you, steel blade dragging along rock. Get up. You try to right yourself by putting weight on your arm, but a blast of pain fires off in your ribcage, like your organs are trying to skewer themselves on your own splintered ribs. You're barely able to pilot your aching body into a standing position as Remus approaches, his sword glittering in the dark. I won't let you destroy this world. This isn't radical queer politics. Listen, I get it. Part of the queer project is rejecting heteronormative domestic union and reproduction, and so if I die, yeah, sure, maybe there's something radical there beyond the mere sustenance of people who happen to hold certain identity categories. Remus thrusts his sword at you in a very phallocentric way. The blade scratches across your thigh, but you're too hopped up on adrenaline to feel if he broke skin or not. Please, I have a mother and sister I love. They're smart, strong, competent. If anything, I'm the damsel here. Remus growls as he slashes across your arm, the blade cutting through the sleeve and across your bicep. You whimper as you feel the sting of a fresh cut. Clearly, someone hasn't been drinking his women-respecting juice. Nothing seems to be getting through to Remus. At best, you're buying yourself time. At worst, you're dragging out your inevitable death. This is an inefficient attack. Well, actually trying to attack me from this angle is pretty terrible for the leverage you need to pierce armor in my sternum. Remus's blade sweeps across your chest, nicking your armor like it's taking the corner off a stick of butter. You realize it's actually not that bad of a technique. It's clear this isn't working. It's obvious you're out of your element, desperately trying to cling to life rafts already being tossed over the edge. Remus, gathering his senses, simply points his sword at your chest and backs you against a wall. You're both huffing with effort, though you have the disadvantage of struggling to breathe against the tip of a sword. Every shallow, rattling breath you take, you can feel your chest press against steel. For the first time in your life, you have nothing to say. There's no clever quip to get you out of the situation. No obscure reference that will deliver you from the pickle you find yourself in. Despite everything, it's just you. No matter where you go, what you do or say, there's no escape from him. You close your eyes and wait for the end. Stop! The blow never comes. Managing to wrench open an eyelid, you watch Cedric getting to his feet in the middle of the cavern. Blood trickles down his nose and over his lips. There's something clutched in his hand. When he holds it aloft, a flash of recognition flits across Remus's expression. In Cedric's hand is the crown. Remus quickly forgets you as he rounds on your friend, though through gritted teeth he commands, Cedric, give that to me. Cedric hesitates as he fingers the crown uncertainly. The gem in its center twinkles with energy. I feel it. Cedric holds it up like he means to place it on his own head. Remus snarls. Don't you dare! You don't belong here! You think this means anything? Foolish boy, you were never meant for this world, and now you overstayed your welcome. Cedric places the crown on his head. It fits perfectly. When Cedric opens his eyes, they're glowing faintly. I can see. He looks past you, at a point only he can see. Remus growls and charges at him with his sword raised. Cedric raises his hand. And Wes, bloodied and bruised, meets Remus with a shield, its glowing outline shimmering against his wrist. They parry back and forth. Remus brings his sword down, and Wes meets it with his new weapon, sidestepping to dodge the follow-up strike. From behind, a bolt of fire strikes Remus's back and leaves a smoldering hole in his cape. Remus swivels to block the following bolts, one smoking white with frost, another crackling blue with lightning, and opens himself up for an uppercut from Wes's shield. In your own hand, the silicone implement in your grip feels heavier. Looking down, you see a glittering translucent blade extend from the base of the dildo. Remus is fending off attacks on both sides from Wes and Luke. A flash of energy solders his shoulder, and a blow from Wes knocks him backwards. Before you can think, you're there to capitalize on it, your blade arcing across Remus's back. Remus howls, stumbling, and you dart forward to dig the tip of your sword ever so slightly between Remus's shoulder blades. Remus stills. The others surround him, and disarmed, Remus seems to quickly realize that he's out of options. He slowly lets his sword clatter to the floor, and he raises his hands in surrender, dropping to his knees. His broad shoulders rise and fall with his labored breathing. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right there. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon if you can. It always helps. Before I go, I'm going to give a quick shout-out to our lovely bronze tier patrons. Thank y'all for all you do for the channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Thank you to our silver tier patron, Cade Silverman. Thank you for a bit above and beyond. It's greatly appreciated. And thank you to our gold tier patron, Trezum Guy. You're awesome. We love you. Thank you for subbing to our ultimate tier. Anyway, if y'all want to get your names in the credits, get access to all of our not safe for work contents as little as $5. Alrighty, I love you all, and I see y'all in the next video. Excuse me. Bye-bye.